You can be high performing, extremely productive, and still quietly burning out in a way that no one around you can see. My name is Elyssa Smith, and I'm a trauma informed executive coach. And what I want to talk to you about today is this: you might not even realize what is actually happening to you on the inside. I have a client, and she was sharing with me how she loves what she does. She has her own business, she's very successful. From the outside, it looks like she's checking all the boxes and it all looks great. But inwardly, she's waking up with overwhelm. Inwardly, she's every day experiencing dread about her to-do list, even though it's all stuff that 5 years ago were on her dream list. This happens because in childhood, high performers get programmed that perfectionism is the goal, that the results, the outcome is the goal. And in the meantime, we are secretly abandoning ourselves on the inside. So if you are experiencing signs of burnout internally, even though you're performing really well on the outside, it's actually not your fault. It's because you've been programmed at an early age that the level of performance you put out is the only thing that matters. And then that causes you to abandon yourself on the inside. So any needs that you had, any connection, any emotional vulnerability that you needed, any affirmation that you needed for just you being you instead of performance-based self-worth, performance-based affirmation, all of that would equal you as an adult getting to this successful place in your life where it should feel really good, right? You're having the dream life, you're living the life that you always designed, you're working the job that you wanted, or maybe you're just at a new level of success. Maybe you're not totally where you want to be, but you are just dreading or feeling weary. That's because your nervous system does not feel okay with the level that you're at. So essentially, your body learned that in order to earn rest, you had to hit some sort of rock bottom with your exhaustion. So if you ever had to be, if your mindset is that you have to be in the hospital, you have to be really sick before you're allowed to slow down, that causes a level of alarm in the nervous system that keeps you in a survival mode. So when this client's coming to me and she says, I've got this great life, I have this wonderful family, I feel like I should, if you hear this word, should, this is what you should be listening for. If you feel like you should be doing something different or should feel a different way, that is your sign that something is going on with your internal programming that says, I'm not enough unless I produce. I don't have value unless I'm actively creating a result that other people are expecting from me, or that my internal inner critic is expecting from me. Because once you get programmed in childhood that this is the way it needs to be, you have to be at this level all the time. Once you accomplish this, you move right on to the next level to accomplish, and there's just no rest in it. And we might get affirmations like based on our performance, but if you don't get affirmations as a little kid based on who you are or like the things you can control, if you constantly get praised for the results you accomplish, which, spoiler alert, you can't actually control the results in your life. You can't control outcomes. You can control what you do to get to those outcomes. But if you're not celebrating the journey, if you're not being fully mindful and present in the moment as you're on your way to hoping and planning and working toward those results, then it's going to be this empty sort of hamster wheel feeling. So you might get to the next level of success that you've been planning, you've been designing your life at that level, you've been going towards that. It looks to everyone else around you like you have accomplished what you want to accomplish and that you are living the dream. You might even really look happy to other people. But if you are experiencing this hidden burnout, if you're quietly burned out on the inside, everything's just going to feel slightly less good. You're not ever going to really feel completely fulfilled, completely joyful. You're not going to have those, what we call glimmers. If you've heard of an emotional trigger, that's a painful thing that your body thinks something bad is happening, that this moment reminds you of something bad that's happened. That's a trigger. The opposite of a trigger is a glimmer, which means a joy hit, like a real moment of complete joy. And joy signals safety to the nervous system. But if you don't have access to that level of joy, if you feel constantly exhausted, like you're just running on empty, you probably are experiencing some of this hidden burnout that high achievers often feel. So what are we going to do about this? How do you navigate? You're doing everything right, right? I grew up with this constant understanding that every goal I wanted was on the other side of working harder. But if you've been working harder your whole life, if everything in you says, I just need to be better, to do more, to work harder, there's a part of you that's getting left behind. So the key to this is you have to go back for that part of you that's been left behind. It's not about necessarily doing less, although I do recommend slowing down a bit. That's what I help most of my clients to do. If they come to me in this state, we actually have to back off until we find a little relief, so that the system comes out of survival mode. But you don't even have to completely stop. It can feel like the only solution is like, I'm out of here, I'm leaving the country, I'm going to go to the Caribbean and disappear into a villa on the beach for 2 weeks, and then I'll be able to recharge. You can actually achieve the kind of rest and rejuvenation that you need a little at a time. Now, I know if you're in this place of burnout, it can feel like, oh gosh, I just want an instant solution. I'm in such pain, and it may not feel like acute pain. Again, this can be very quiet. This type of hidden burnout does not look overt. It's not like ennui, like you're on the couch and you're just like, oh, I cannot move forward. You're probably a really high performing burner outer. You're probably somebody who's just continuing to get up every morning, and you do the things, and you feed the dog, and you feed the kids, and you do the things, depending on who's in your life, you're probably still taking care of those people. Or even if it's just you in your life, you're probably still checking all the boxes of maybe even your self-care is still happening. Maybe you're still going to the gym. Maybe you're still eating well. Maybe you're still, getting the facials or the manicures or whatever it is that floats your boat, that gets you recharged usually, and it's not working. Those are the signs of this hidden burnout. There's something deeper that needs to happen. You need a deeper rest, a deeper attentiveness to yourself. Now, this comes from being able to actually attune to your true self. Your true self is the one that got left behind when you needed to achieve that next higher thing when you were younger in order to get the affirmation, the acceptance, or the perceived safety that you needed. Now, in my house, I was not safe. I was not unsafe if I didn't do well in my piano performance, okay? But I secretly, in my heart of hearts, I knew that the best attention that I got in my household was when I did really well at stuff. So I went big. I went for first place at everything I did. I got all the A pluses. I did everything because I was craving that affirmation that came from doing the best at everything. Now, you may have handled it differently. Some people, the black sheep of the family, if that's you, you may have handled this. You may be a high performer now, but back then you were bucking and the trend. You were rebelling against that. It doesn't necessarily matter. What matters is that in your little heart, you knew that you weren't going to get your needs met unless you performed at this high level. You may or may not have chosen to work that hard for that high level, but either way, it caused internal abandonment. You would have had to abandon that little person inside of you who needed affirmation and connection just based on being rather than doing. Okay? So as an adult, how do you rein this back in? If you're already in it, it can feel so deep and like you're in a deep hole and you can't pull yourself out. You don't even really know how you got here. So here, I'm going to tell you the first step that you need to take. You need to figure out what it is today that would make your life 1% better. 1%, that's it. So whether that means that you have your favorite tea and your favorite mug, whether that means you've got flowers or a candle, or whether that means you carry around your favorite lotion today, or whether that means that you actually look at your calendar and you realize, I can actually take a few minutes to myself to go for a walk outside or to get some sun. You want to do something to nurture your body, to get yourself refocused and reattuned to your true self. What are your real needs? This is not about you need to earn rest. We don't have to earn rest by going to exhaustion anymore. We can give ourselves the gift of rest in the process. So I hope this gives you some permission today to look at your life, to look at today, this 24-hour container, and see what would help you get that just little bit of extra breath, rest. It doesn't even have to be a full rest. I know that probably what you're craving if you're in this hidden burnout is a full stop, but you might not be able to. That's not sustainable for a lot of our lives. So if you can't take a full stop, I'm encouraging you to take the one step to 1% of feeling better today. What's it going to be for you? Now, the next step that you take after you do that today, and maybe do that tomorrow, and do 1% better, 1% better, you're going to actually start feeling better in the next few days if you do this. But the key is you want to rewire and untangle the old messaging. That old message that says you don't deserve rest or you're not allowed to rest until you accomplish and achieve perfection or until you get to the finish line. But then the finish line keeps moving, right? Because we're never done. In that mentality, there's always something more that you need to be doing. So you want to look at the wiring underneath. How did you get that messaging? Where did it come from? And what do I need to do to get to that next step of freedom from that way of thinking? So this will all help your nervous system become more regulated. And if you're interested in some more support, you can actually grab my free PDF. It's 5 nervous system hacks that you can do at your desk or anywhere. And it's going to get you started on this path to actually feeling more joyful, feeling more calm, more peaceful. It's designed to be super duper fast and easy. So you can grab these 5 hacks at ElyssaSmith.com/reset. I hope that's helpful for you. If you want to dig deeper, I'm available for one-to-one coaching, and you can reach out to me and grab a spot on my calendar, ElyssaSmith.com/focus. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will see you next time.